Okay, you sent me in, and it seemed like there might be some. Well, it looked like you're trying to tell me something important, but they were reviewing what's happening. I mean, you see, that's one of those things. Where, again, there's not enough information like about such the proceedings of such things, or even what's going on. What they said that other things that like aren't happening is that like the issue of chemical weapons inspections in Syria, and remember those awful images of people gassed. But what we made a video about at the time was like, it's really hard to find out what's going on in such a situation, because they're leaving out so many facts. And we know persons like me know so little about exactly what's taking place in like a country like Syria, but those images are very frightening. They talked about a humanitarian intervention. It was very hard as a member of the American population to come to a conclusion about something so serious with such limited awareness of the big picture, or what there's a lot we don't know. It's hard to figure it out. But what they said is like the UN is citing the weather, and what did it say? The weather and logistical concerns have like delayed the weapons inspections. What do they mean the weather? I mean, but the worst part being that people who turn that on in the morning, like, and aren't doing our activity, like, probably miss that they might be in a hurry to get to work or something. Miss that they're claiming that makes no. What do you mean the weather? It said the weather and logistical concerns are the reasons that like chemical weapons inspections have stalled or something. But that's how our media is. They show a picture of what appear, or how long ago was that? A couple months of like, oh, like it looked like 100 like children and women and civilians had been gassed with some nerve agent, and that the government had, we talked about humanitarian intervention. They had a crazy interview. It turned out that this leader of Syria, like, that he was making demands that are irrational, like that he wants his country to be a permanent member of the UN Security Council. That's the deal he wants, or he'll like start gassing people. Oh, okay, like that's not a rational person, but like, what should we do? And the thing is, of course, after all that frightening, serious, and the grotesque images, and hearing that the leader has claims like that, we never really heard about it again. And then, I mean, we never really heard about it again after all that, seeing all that stuff, and then now it didn't properly explain why nothing's happening on that. That was the other news that you keep sending me into. By the way, the other thing is that they didn't pass the other things that haven't happened yet, like it looks like nothing has happened on any of the things that we are as citizens asked to be concerned about. Some which we should, some which are they don't give us enough information to find out what the issue is. But again, another one of the things that didn't get done. This could probably go on forever. We have like a government that doesn't function. But the other one that was the gun control thing wasn't passed. Well, like what jumped to my mind is like I wanted to read that bill because I'm unaware of them having a serious plan at what to do about that. It's one of these things where they do mention background checks. Okay, so did that now that didn't work or something? They couldn't get that passed. So what does it mean? I mean, so can you still? I mean, it's one of those things where they don't sound like they're putting enough thought into how exactly we control such things. You just kept hearing about background checks, but like, that must be a much more complicated. I mean, that's all you ever heard about. I mean, that's so that didn't get done. Well, that's dangerous. But it's just an end. The year in review is like, here's all the things that we've told you about this year that are very serious, and nothing has been done. And here's some chit chat about it that doesn't make any sense, including the claim that the weather has something to do with why we never reached a decision with the UN on what to do about all those people who were gassed. Well, then, I mean, I don't know what to make. I mean, they showed us like traumatic images, gave us limited information, showed an interview with this sort of dictator who may or may not be criminally insane based on what he said, but nothing got done on that either. I mean, it kind of to say our government doesn't function. I mean, that's part of it, but part of it is like this media and the government are in the business of traumatizing the population here all the time psychologically by telling them about these alarming things that have to happen, and then it just doesn't get done, and then they make cute comments about the sort of politics of it, why it's not going to get done. Like they're not going to get votes from they got to worry about keeping their Senate seat, and there's a lot of emotion around that issue, so it's not going to get done. Like I mean, then either I mean then it's you wish they never told you about all these things because none of them are ever going to take place. What would be interesting to know is did anything happen this year? Was anything accomplished? Is what I'd like to know. That's unmentioned. The year in review this morning would indicate that nothing got done on anything that's important that would affect people's lives, and in some cases is very serious. It'd be interesting to know if anything was got done, as they say. But they're airing this in the morning really fast. People are on their way to work probably, not noticing that we have a failed state, a government that doesn't function, and all the serious issues that involve all sorts of things the government hasn't done anything. What they're basically saying is, welcome to your country. This year we got a great indication that this may in fact be a failed state, formal democratic structures that simply no longer function. That could have been the news. They could have just said that.